Hello audience, today we're gonna have the Out There Oceans of the Time, a wandering his desolate space. It was 2014 when the Micro Studios launched the first Out There, a sci-fi game that broadlined the interstellar adventure to the Android and iOS that fascinated 500,000 female gamers. 8 years and few spin-offs later, the French studio returns with a direct sequel to the first title, namely Out There, Oceans of the Time. It's not easy to insert Out There Oceans of the Time. It's a very specific category since the game blends elements of interplanetary exploration seasoned by a narrative framework, with the management phases with a strong survival component interspersing everything with the sessions, more of roguelike matrix. After the success of the first title, Micro Studios has chosen to raise the bar by hiring highly respected professionals, including the new entries and well-known names. In Ocean of Time, the composer of the first game, Shindata Barboon, returns as Benjamin Carré, makes his debut as illustrator, and even Christos Cage, the screenwriter of the Netflix adaptation of Daredevil and of the video game Marvel Spider-Man, to the dialogues. There is a plenty of men what file, but will be able to satisfy the palate of the lures found out there. In the first moments of the game, we find ourselves capsulated into a future which the sun has gone out, forcing humans to migrate on orbit's arcs. Multiple forms of alien life now flock to the universe, including cubic deities who control and regulate it. But the Archon, an evil demigod, is determined to subvert the cosmic order and conquer the civilization started across the space. It's in this scenario that the adventure of the next Sergei begins. Two humans who personally suffer an attack by Archon that forces them to abandon their spaceship, its emergency capsules, and their state of cryogenic sleep. After 100 years, the two awaken an unknown planet with only one question to torment them: how to track down and defeat the Archon. In the attempt to retrace the steps of what happened to collect clues to the Archon position, we will need help. Snooks and the Sergei orient themselves in a cosmic map dotted with the solar system towards the objects of main storyline, exploring sidereal space far and wide to complete the missions that unfold in the course of the adventure. The phases of exploration on a cosmic map alternate with the roguelike moments when we land on the planets that can be visited. Once set foot on the alien soil, our team will have to judge to reach variable goal depending on type of the planet, such as visiting an alien village or finding a particular type of resources useful to sustain. During our wanderings, we'll find a waste typology of the spacecraft, which we can take possession of in the search of larger hoard which can contain a greater number of resources and technological tools, as well as increased crew capacity, creating space to recruit new team members to join over the course of missions. As in Out There, even in the Oceans of Time, the fighting is completely absent. The enemy is nature. Between the potion sports, hostile terrains, unbreathable atmospheres, and desolate plains, the toughest challenge out of still to survive. Given the precipitation of the condition of protagonist and of the entire human race, every minute in the world of their Oceans of Time is a continuous struggle for life. There are 4 parameters that we will have to continually keep an eye on: fuel, oxygen, spacecraft strength, and the crew morale. If any of the first 3 indicators reach 0, the game will end and you will need to start over from the last available save. To avoid running into this situation, we will have to collect the resources necessary for the maintenance for the spacecraft in different planets where a specific type of useful materials is hidden. For example, in the rocky planets, we will find iron useful to restore the resistance of our vehicle, while it will be possible to extract helium and hydrogen from the gaseous planet to increase fuel supplies. Within the adventure, you will also come across civilized planets where the pristine nature has been tamed by arcane alien specificities that can prove to be of vital help in our adventures. However, there is a small problem. They can only speak their incomprehensible language. And if we don't have in a team a champion originally from the planet of Xenologists predisposed to the interruption of the alien languages, it will be almost impossible to decipher the dialogues. And in this case, we will have to rely on luck to choose correct option, hoping not to annoy out interlocutor too much. In our astral wanderings, it will have to come across the sporadic storage situation that allow us to save the progress, and we will need it badly, considering what it means repeatedly move from one part of the cosmos to another. To carry out any action, it's necessary to consumable resources at our disposal, so to go progress towards each solar system will need a quality of fuel, oxygen and resistance that varies across to its distance from the position. But what we will find inside is a surprise. Imagine running out of fuel and needing to find a gaseous planet at all cost. We enter a first solar system whenever, however, there are only rock planets. Then into another one containing only planets with trees, and it's game over a blink of an eye. As is the first iteration of the series, allow players fundamental role out of space oceans of time. In addition of the randomness with which the planets are generated, we find a good dose of randomness also in narrative sector. The storytelling of the game mainly unfolds in long textual inserts that cannot fail to remember the words of a dungeon master when describing a scene during the Dungeons and Dragons sessions or old school text adventure. Thanks to the multiple choices, there is a good deal of interactivity, in which, however, the case has a great impact. While we are on the cosmic map, from time to time we come across textual pop-ups that place us in front of the crossroads. By choosing some answers, we can earn useful items or even cross mysterious passengers that teleport the spacecraft to the another segment of the space. In other cases, that the game will have no mercy, even if we are convicted that we have made the most pleasurable choice for our crew. We will risk losing a huge amount of precious resources or life points. What follows in the game over is always around the corner, and scarcity of save points makes the game experience often repetitive or frustrating, similar to the previous chapter out there, as the community has often approached the micro study. But what has the French production company learned from the first title in 2014? The game's layout remained the same, renewing the formula on the out there fan base so much appreciates, but the graphical interface has significantly improved. The cartoon style is abandoned in favor of more exclusively sci-fi graphics dotted with the animated sequences and completely by a good soundtrack, which manages to make us immerse ourselves in the sci-fi atmosphere of the vast universe. However, the game maintains a retro streak that is more reminiscent of the game of yesterday than a 2022 release. Out there, Oceans of Time is difficultly game to swallow for those unfamiliar with the genre and requires some effort to avoiding having to start the game over. It is recommended for fans or previous titles of the series who certainly won't be disappointed by the large amount of content inside. Thank you for watching, have a good one, bye bye.